Hello and welcome back to my channel, Mindful Creativity, and I'm your host, Shade. As you can see, I have this beautiful Monstera deliciosa with me, which is also called the Swiss cheese plant because of the holes in the leaves, so it kind of looks like cheese. 2 weeks ago, this plant almost broke into two, and I almost lost it. So I decided to get these, they're called moss poles. I decided to get these so I could stake the plant. So if you'd like to see how I did that, stay tuned. So as you can see from the background, I have a lot of indoor plants. So one trick that I use is that I cut open a garbage bag and then I use that to spread on the floor so I can avoid messing up the floor while I repot my plants. Now this poor plant has been in need of repotting for a long time. As you can see, I use skewers to temporarily stake it. So to actually properly stake it, we're going to need some supplies. We're going to need moss poles, some soil, some plant tape, and a pair of scissors. And I'm taking out these skewers, these unfortunate skewers, which should not have been there in the first place. So now I'm just pressing very gently on all sides of the plant just to loosen up the soil so I can get the plant out. And there you go, you see how easily it came out? Now this plant didn't necessarily need to be repotted, it needed to be staked. As you can see, the roots didn't even get down to the bottom of the new pot that I had put it into. But I was lazy and I didn't repot the plant, or rather stake the plant when it needed to be staked. Now I'm going to fill the pot up to maybe about 30 to 40% with soil, and once I get it to that point, then I'll add the plant in because I don't want the roots to be touching the bottom. I want it to go for a while before hitting the bottom, so maybe about 30 to 40%, and then I'll fill the rest of the pot up with soil. I think it needs just a little bit more soil on top, so I'm going to open this new pack of potting mix that I got and just add a little bit more on top. Now onto the part of actually staking the Monstera deliciosa onto the moss poles, which turned out to be the harder part of the process for me, because this plant was growing in all sorts of directions. It was also challenging, surprisingly, to connect these two moss poles. I actually had to take it outside and go off camera and just like yank the two pieces together. So I went off camera and did that and then came back. And I had pre-cut the pieces of the plant tape, but I realized I cut some of them a bit too short. The plant tape is actually kind of like a Velcro kind of material, so that's the mechanism that it uses for sticking together. So that's basically what I did. I just searched for spots that needed support and then I just taped them to the moss pole, and I just repeated this process a couple of times. I think I ended up adding maybe 5 or 6 strips to support the plant. So the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. So now I want to just talk for a little bit about how caring for plants helps me a lot with my mental health. As you know, plants require sunlight, they require water, and they require nutrients. On a weekly basis or on a daily basis, you're not always thinking about what you need to do to take care of yourself. But sometimes I'll look around my apartment and I'll be like, oh my goodness, my plants need some water, or they need a little bit more sun, or something like that. And it just reminds me to check out and to check in. So I take care of the plants, but then it reminds me, oh, what about me? Am I taking care of me? How am I doing? Alright, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, just help me out and just hit that like button. And if you want to see more, just hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload another video. But until then, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.